So what I wanted to do is look at some of my old resumes and you guys can flame it with me. Right from the start. Wow, this is weird doing my own resume. So, it looks playful. It's cool. It's cute. This is for a creative coordinator position. So, I think I wanted to be a little creative to show something. It's really easy to see, I think, a separation of information. The top header, the information. There's enough white space. There's really a nice color scheme. I think it looks pleasing to the eye. I think this might be a little long, but if I actually read this, which I would, this would be like, I'm interested, I'm not. I have it organized with projects. So there's 2 big projects that I'm working on. So I need to learn more about this. I got links into there. And then professional experience, skills, expertise, social, education. Hey, we've talked about this before, how much I hate this. Skills, leadership, fast learner, communication, public speaking, team management, thrives under pressure. Wow, this guy's amazing. No, that's all fluff. But yeah, this is a mobile game company. Big games, but yeah. But already I see they don't have, I see this person does not have mobile game, they don't have the relevant company job experiences, right? So, knowing that, I tailored my resume I should have tailored my resume to show hey, I don't have the experience you're looking for, or that seemingly the experience that you're looking for, but I do because I'm an engineer, or I do because I have these jobs, these hobbies and projects that I've done. So let's just go through this resume. About me, I'm applying for the creator coordinator position at Purblue found on Twitter. Okay, I've heard this is okay. I'm not a big fan of it because they should know that, but I've realized that this resume could sit on someone's desk forever and it could be passed around to other positions. So having that here, the person with the resume knows right away the context that this is for the creative coordinator position. My engineering experiences demonstrate my left brain skills in being detail oriented. Okay, oh my gosh, that made me cringe so hard because that's just that's fluff. And maybe that's useful because I want to show them hey, I'm a wordsmith, or I'm I can say things clever, but oh my gosh, yeah, that's totally makes me just demonstrating my left brain skills, and also there should be a hyphen. And being detail-oriented, process-focused, and organized. My podcasting experiences demonstrate my right brain skills of being able to collaborate with a team, communicate effectively, and regularly create creative, quality content. That feels so funny. And I think I've said this with other people's resumes. I'm just stating what I've done and who I am. I haven't proven anything. What I rather would have said here is my engineering experiences help me understand how to manage a project, or a creative coordinator, coordinate timelines, objectives, and projects for multi-million-dollar products or something like that, right? Because that's ooh, he's actually done it and he showed it. I want to learn more about these multi-million-dollar projects, and not jam pack so many detail-oriented, process-focused, organized. I would focus on maybe 1 or 2 of those things that make sense to the result that I'm going to say look at what I've done. But I will say, the thing is, if I was reading this and I laughed at this actually would catch my attention and I'd remember it. So it could do that successfully, even though it's not the best example of it, right? Okay, projects. League of Legends Anonymous podcast, One Green podcast. Helping players find community, get better, learn more, and have fun. That is the value proposition or the mission statement of it. It doesn't tell me much. Yeah. This is so high up here. This needs to be more impactful, I think. If this was Pepsi, Pepsi advertising commercial campaign, it's oh, well, whoa. And then maybe a brief discussion of launch the campaign to unite people and hit the new generation of Zoomers or something like that. That might be more interesting and make me click on the link. One Green podcast, improving player performance and following the esports journey. Yeah, again, as someone that doesn't know Wild and Green, that would not hit me at all. I wouldn't it just leaves me with I don't know what this is, right? If you're CLG hiring manager, then you'd be whoa, And then improving player performance and following the esports journey. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's what the podcast is. But again, it doesn't tell me like what I did. Professional experience, mechanical engineer. So this is what I liked here that I suggest a lot of people do. This is not an engineering job application. If it was, I would list out Abbott, Honeywell, and talk about all of them, because those are, Abbott is a huge name. They're a pharmaceutical company that's like huge, right? And also, I only did a summer internship there, but combining this into my whole mechanical engineering experience, they don't know that. They don't know it's just an internship. Honeywell, I worked there for almost 3 years. That's a big company as well. Orbitech, no one knows who Orbitech is, unfortunately, but like that's space equipment. I have something that's going to be in space that I've designed and worked on probably in like a year. So yeah, instead of, and again, I think what we see a lot of people is like, oh, in Abbott I did these 5 things, and in Honeywell I did like these 5 things, and Orbitech I did these 5 things, and some of that's repetitive because I want to say, like, what if you just got creative and just combined it all? Because does anyone really care? Like, oh, this thing was only in Honeywell and not in Abbott and Orbitech? Like, no, this person that's reading this does not care, right? They just want to know like if you're qualified or not, and whether you did this at Abbott, Honeywell, or Orbitech, or company A, B, or C, it doesn't matter. They just want to know that you've done it. So this was a way that I creatively, I would say, condense that information. Communicate a project and schedule details with customers, external contractors, and cross-functional team members for multiple concurrent projects as an equipment specialist. I like that. Establish new procedures, processes, and templates to standardize workflow, improve efficiency, and minimize future delays. Delivered over 30 different equipments. I would have said 30 different types of equipment. 30 different equipments. Whoa. I don't know what's actually there. Valued over $3 million to customers on time and per requirements. So that one needs some work grammatically. This one's huge because I say $3 million. I'm like, whoa, like that's a lot of money. While these two, they're just like, this is what I've done and this is what I'm capable of. But again, it's not proving it. If I said like community project and schedule details with customers, because I was pretty much a liaison between all these different departments. So if I said like, over a team of 30 different parties, that'd be cool. I know this is really dense, and this is just like me trying to show off like these are the skills that I've done, these are the tasks that I've done, which like maybe I know I've been saying with a lot of people like show the impact that they've done, and if I try to include the impact here, it might get like really, really wordy and long, and maybe that means I have to split it up. So this is where like I think I should do multiple takes on this bullet point, and like what would happen if I split this up into 3 bullet points or not. So maybe this is where I put this first. Like this is the impact. Delivered $3 million of stuff on time and part of the customer requirements or something like that, right? And I'd have to reword this. That would be the first thing. So it's like, well, this is the impact that they've done. And then breaking down like how I did that by communicating successfully through multiple team members and customers. And I think why I put customers, external contractors, like maybe this job required me to not only talk to an internal team, but to external teams like Apple to get things on to the Apple Store, or like if they made games for specific customers or something like that. So that's where I would include that stuff. That's why I would include that information. Establish new procedures. So again, this is like how did establishing new procedures and process and templates help? Like if I said like, hey, this reduced 15 hours in standard work hours or manpower, or like that would be important. Podcast producer and host. Collaborated with three members to create Lola Podcast. With a growing team of over 10 global members, over 140 have been, oh, this is horrible verbiage and grammar. Over 140 have been produced with over $1,000 per downloads per episode, helping players find a friendly community and improve their performance. So I think with the mobile games, like there's a lot of talk about like creating the community, like their social media, like Facebook groups, and actually that was probably it, their Facebook groups. Oh, and their forums. I think they had forums for their games. Pioneered the recent 4-month launch and production of the Weldon Green podcast for Weldon. The leading sports psychology trainer in League of Legends esports and coach for over 3 world champions contending teams. So this is me trying to give context to who Weldon is. But it happens So late. Oh, I hate this. I hate this. This does not say what I'm trying to do. What I've done. I wish I broke this up into like 4 different bullet points and cut this. Like cut this so I could actually like massage this information and tell it better to the company. Yeah, that's ugly. Skills, take that out. Expertise. This is interesting. Like this is where like what's the difference between skills and expertise? I don't know. So what I would have rather had is cut the skills or cut expertise and put this all under skills like podcasting, social media marketing, social audio editing, which is probably in podcasting, but maybe that's useful for the specific thing, but it's not. Workflow processes, collaborative content creation. It's okay. They're buzzwords, keywords, whatever. I'm not a huge fan of what I just listed there. My socials, LinkedIn, just casual. Education. Yeah, so I think this is fine. I think, yeah, like I said, if I was able to scratch a lot of this, and I could put the socials up here, suddenly I have more room to really break out these bullet points and also break out these bullet points if they're really important. But I would also include this maybe into here. Hypothetical. You did one responsibility at Abbott in 2012, but didn't have the same at Honeywell in 2014, for argument's sake. But then you got that again in Orbitech 2017. Does recency and performing a skill oriented to the job you're applying for matter, or just as long you've done it once, you're covered? So this is the beauty of storytelling and editing. Like everything you say is biased, right? By omission or just how you tell the story, right? And some storylines do not matter to the main point you're trying to get across, the main plot. And that's what your resume is, right? Does it matter what you did in 2012 or 14 as long as you have that information? Well, you're just trying to tell the person, like, you're trying to tell them, hey, this is what I'm capable of, and it matches what you're asking for. This is what I can do for your company because I've done it for these companies. So it doesn't matter if it was done at Abbott, Honeywell, or Orbitech. In my opinion, no. I'm sure there are plenty of cases where you can say yes. For example, if I was applying for a pharmaceutical company, and pharmaceutical companies have crazy restrictions and requirements based off of government and regions and countries and FDA, blah, 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 that apply for pharmaceuticals, versus there are completely different crazy restrictions for space equipment. Or in Honeywell, I was doing oil industry, working in the oil industry. So those have different specifications. So if what I needed to say was like, I know pharmaceutical specifications, I would want to make sure they know that I know pharmaceutical specifications. And let's say I didn't know pharmaceutical specifications, but I included like, I know specifications very vaguely because of Honeywell and Orbitech. Well, I think that would be falsified information. Now, I could say space specifications are really stringent and difficult, and I learned them all. And I learned how to apply them all into my designs. And therefore, I can do that for pharmaceuticals. Like, that is a different statement, and I think that's very, very valid. Hey, this is my application. It's 2 pages. But the reason why I did this is because I wanted to attach the cover letter to the resume, because I really wanted people to read my cover letters, and people don't read cover letters, right? Super moody. Just so you know why I did this, and this is like for fun. This is their logo. So therefore, I made my resume. Get that too. I thought that was fun. I think that would make someone stop and be like, "Ha, that's cool." Community manager, social media manager, content creator. That's cool. People can know right away what I am. Right? And this is for a community manager position. All right. Unite gamers to geek out together with their favorite brands and companies through storytelling, empathy, and entertainment. That's really short. I actually like that. Storytelling, empathy, and entertainment. Haha, look at me. I'm so clever. This actually bothered me so much because like the color scheme does not match at all. Experience. Podcast host, founder, and community manager for League of Legends Anonymous podcast. I have the Watcher podcast. Planned, hosted, and produced 180 plus episodes, totaling 200K downloads. So that's like really impactful, right? I'm not only showing like, hey, I've done these projects. I'm saying like I've done these projects and found success with them. I think that's the big deal. Streamed and hosted community events and episodes. Moderated and managed 750 plus member Discord server. Collaborated with 10 plus volunteers to build our community and content. Collaborated with other creators for interviews and content. Probably don't need that one. Engaged with the community via Twitter, Facebook. Okay, created content specifically for social media platforms. This is what I've talked about with other people's resumes where I'm just like listing all the things I've done. So what is the point of that? Like if I'm able to provide the impact with each one, that's important. But I'm also trying to tell them like, hey, you asked for like content creation on social media. So like check, that's my bullet point, right? And anyone can say this stuff. So what I'd rather have is like maybe 4 bullet points or 3 bullet points that are really fleshed out that give context. So then if I only read 3, I already know like, boom, I want this person. So, but like at the same, like, so what I'm reading here is like, I'm putting information here, right? And I think I'm like showing off the cloud. Like I've moderated and managed a 750 plus member Discord server. Like that's a big deal. I think that speaks for itself. I don't like, what do I need to say more about the impact of that? I think this is the impact of this. So I think those work. Yeah, because this is what I did, and these are the impacts. So I'm kind of okay with it. I think I could take out some bullet points and, like I said, expound on some of them or combine them. Community manager, returner 77 iOS game for Fantastic Yes. Contract position for 4 months. And that's what I said. I wanted to say contract position because I don't want to be like 2017. This was a short time. So I said, hey, this is a contract position. This had a start and end date. Rather than saying like, oh, I quickly switched jobs and I didn't like it, or I got fired. Monitor and relayed community feedback to game devs. Replied to every review and social media comment and message. Implemented social media campaigns with the marketing team. So something here that I didn't talk about, which I should have, is again, what actually happened, right? I think this is showing like the tasks I've done and showing them in a decent light, but this social media campaign, we increased sales 1,000% or something like that based off of what we decided to do for Black Friday. And I was a part of that. We got a lot of feedback and people were happy that I responded to every single app review and every single post or reply to us on social media. So that increased brand value. How do you measure that? I have no idea. But that stuff is not said in these 3 bullet points yet. And even this first one, like what was that impact for the company? Being able to, maybe I could say like, oh, gave weekly updates to help the game devs patch glitches, or our marketing team to decide on what kind of content we're going to put out. Like those aren't metrics, but those are like soft impacts or not like clearly defined impacts. And I think that still gives us across like how important my job was. That's what's missing here. And again, I did this thing where I just like combined all this like combined experience. Like, do they care about my engineering experience? No. But what's important about my engineering experience? Because it is important. Manage projects and community details with team members, customers, and contracted vendors. Skill set. Live streaming, Twitch TV, and OBS Studio. That's good. Creative Suite. Talked about what like the Adobe products that I've used. Social media. These are what I'm familiar with. Game Sense. Oh, what a horrible skill set. That means nothing. This is weird because I try to fill out the whole page by increasing the font. I don't like that. It just makes it look like a lot, and it wasn't actually a lot. Hello to all at Human Head Studios. I love gaming communities because I believe that games are best enjoyed with others. Yes, even single-player games, which is what Human Head does. Being able to use social media creatively, creating welcoming interactions, and thriving in team environments are all skills that I would love to bring to the community manager role at Human Head Studios. So that's not bad. It's sharing what I really care about and what I want to do. So they could either be like, hey, we like that. And I would say like, even punch you, like, it's okay. All right. Oh, look at that. Creative. Look at that color scheme. It matches FlyQuest. And this alignment sucks. Oh, there's just some really ugly things about this application. Okay, so we've seen this resume format before, and it actually looks similar but it's different. So right now, I believe this community manager on the previous resume was in a different place. There's different bullet points. There's different bullet points here. And this is the same bullet point because again, I want to come off this specific information from my engineering experience to this job as a community manager. So even though like I applied for, I think the previous one was creative director or creative coordinator / community manager, like this is a very similar job, but things are a little different. Also, I would have flopped these colors. I would have put green instead of gold. I hate it. Looks so tacky right now. This alignment's a little weird too. Just jamming information there. So same thing here. My like executive summary is. So what did I do different here? Implemented social media campaigns with a marketing team, which led to 1,000% increase in sales. So hey, I took my advice. Compiled analytics from Facebook ads to improve new ads and targeting. Oh, I didn't say that previously, and I did do that. Manage, and this is a big thing because people like, if you're doing marketing or whatever and being able to say like, I know Facebook ads, that's a huge thing. And this is where I was talking to you, Caribou, about like Photoshop. I did this like a few times. I don't know Facebook ads well. I don't feel confident about it, but I know that like I've been through it and it's like, it's not that difficult, but like being really good at this is like a big difference, right? But I'm pretty sure when I got the call, like, hey, we want to set up an interview, I watched tons of videos and podcasts about like how to do Facebook ads. Managed posting schedules with marketing team, ensured content alignment with company brand. That's cool. Yeah. This gives a little bit more context about just posting, like alignment with company brand. That's very thoughtful, right? Yeah, there's collaboration in there. Cool. This is a contract position again. Podcast host and creator, legal legend on podcast. I watch the podcast. Planet host have produced 180 plus episodes totaling 200K downloads. Interacted daily with community views, social media platforms, created video and image content about it, implemented tags, SEO. Okay, so like right here, I feel like I'm giving context, like what's going on. I think what would be more important and more impressive is talking about these keywords. Implemented tags, SEO, and analytics findings from previous posts and content on YouTube and other. Okay, the wording is a little funny, but I would put that up higher. Like I've done these analytical marketing stuff. Manage the collaborative templates. Okay, I'll switch around the bullet points. I have a little more oomph for a few of these because these are just like a checklist of like what I've done. Might not be that important. Design and mechanical engineer at Severe, Nevada Corp, and Honeywell. Manage projects, communicated details with team members, customers, and contracted vendors. That's important. There's so much weight into that one bullet point. And hopefully they're curious about like, oh, okay, so you're an engineer. Let's talk about your, and that's happened actually. My boss, like we talked about like what I've done as an engineer, because they're like, oh, what is that engineering world like? Yep, same stuff. Oh, so here I put social media tools, Hootsuite, Buffer, Falcon.io, Twitter Analytics, YouTube Analytics. So I'm really focusing a lot on the marketing side of this job. It must have been in their job posting and description. So I just want them to look at this really quickly, and it's a little hard to read compared to like a bullet point and columns, but I think just how I wanted to fit this in. If they're looking for it, they'll look for it. I think that was my philosophy here. This resume got me an interview, so it's good enough. Didn't get me the job.